This is CBN NewsWatch.
Thank you so much for joining us for CBN NewsWatch. I'm Ephraim Graham. We want to begin this busy Monday in the Middle East. On Sunday, Hezbollah launched more than 250 rockets, drones, and missiles in one of its largest attacks against Israel since the beginning of the war. As Chris Mitchell now reports from Jerusalem, the attacks come as Israel and Hezbollah consider a U.S.-mediated ceasefire proposal.
The barrages sent Israelis in Tel Aviv rushing to bomb shelters and damaged buildings in Haifa and other cities in central Israel. Several Israelis were hurt in the strikes. In Lebanon, the Israeli Defense Forces also kept up their attacks, blasting Hezbollah command centers in Beirut to stop both the rocket barrages and destroy the terror group's ability to wage war. The attacks come as more reports emerge that Israel has agreed to a ceasefire, at least in principle, although there are still reportedly some concerns. The top diplomat of the European Union called for both Hezbollah and Israel to accept one.
We must pressure the Israeli government and maintain the pressure in Hezbollah to accept the U.S. proposal for a ceasefire. This was agreed. This proposal is pending with the final agreement with the Israeli government.
The Middle East Media Research Institute reports a pro-Hezbollah daily Al Amin says a ceasefire would just be the end of the current round in its goal to destroy Israel, and that it would give time for them to rebuild. It wrote, "Honesty compels us to say very calmly that the end of this round of fighting with the enemy does not mean the end of the resistance, and that rebuilding the might of the resistance is the task today. And it will gain momentum in the future and at any point in time."
Thinking about making peace with Hezbollah is, I would say, it's like planting thorns and expecting to see roses. You just can't, especially because Hezbollah is a terrorist organization that swore to destroy Israel.
Middle East analyst Hananya Neftali told CBN News some Israelis believe a ceasefire now may be premature.
There's one thing that we learned from the Holocaust is that when people threaten with our annihilation, we believe them, and we take that seriously. So people outside of Israel, they wouldn't stand for that. So why in the case of Israel, why should we, why are they calling us, to try and solve things diplomatically? I'm sure that America wouldn't tolerate one missile fired at the United States.
And in another major story here in the Middle East, the United Arab Emirates arrested 3 individuals Sunday. It says are suspected of murdering Zvi Kogan, a prominent rabbi in that Gulf nation. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu called it a criminal, anti-Semitic terrorist attack.
The State of Israel will act by all means and bring justice to the murderers and their senders.
Some suspect the murder was an Iranian-backed assassination. On X, Israeli Diaspora Affairs Minister Amichai Chikali said Iran is responsible and that, quote, "It is our duty to overthrow this regime, the root of evil in the Middle East."
I want to continue our coverage now with Chris Mitchell from Jerusalem. So, Chris, what are the reported terms of this ceasefire agreement?
Well, Ephraim, what's been reported so far is it would come in multiple stages. First of all, there would be a truce. Then Hezbollah would remove its forces north of the Litani River, and then as well an Israeli pullout from southern Lebanon. And then there'd be negotiations between Israel and Lebanon over some of the contested border areas. And then overall, that there would be an international body led by the U.S. that would monitor the ceasefire. Israel, it says, according to these reports, would get a letter from Washington that would affirm Israel's right to act militarily if Hezbollah breaks any of the terms of the ceasefire. So right now, some reports say Israel's given what they call a non-final okay. They've approved the main tenets of the proposal, but so far nothing, at least publicly, has been approved. On the other hand, the man in the middle of this, the U.S. mediator, Amos Hochstein, he's warned both sides that if they don't agree soon, that he'll end his mediation. And likely, if he ends his mediation, that will mean that Israel and Lebanon will have to wait until the Trump administration comes in sometime after January 20th.
What is the situation of the more than 60,000 Israelis away from their homes?
Well, right now, Ephraim, as we've talked many times, along the border, maybe over 43 estimated towns and villages along the border have become ghost towns. More than a year, people have been out from their homes, their livelihoods. Many of them are living with family in different apartments and even hotels here in Jerusalem and around the country. They likely won't go back unless they feel safe. As Hananya Naftali said in our report, there are a sense among some people that maybe this deal is premature and that Hezbollah is only agreeing to this so that they continue to fight Israel. And also there's many dynamics going on inside Lebanon. Could there arise a political leadership to replace Hezbollah? Some are doubtful, but others are hopeful. And it really depends on how degraded Hezbollah is right now. Actually, there were, several weeks ago, then former Defense Minister Yoav Gallant said that 80% of Hezbollah rockets have been destroyed, yet they're still firing. And right now, like yesterday, nearly 300 rockets yesterday, more today. Some people think this is meant to show that they can still hit Israelis. There was an interview recently on Lebanese TV where they were talking about, is Hezbollah defeated? The answer for at least one was yes. And on the other hand, Hezbollah says they're not defeated. And the response of the person being interviewed, well, words are free. So we'll see exactly how much, Hezbollah has been defeated or degraded and what impact anything will have of a possible ceasefire.
All right. Chris, tell me, what can you tell us about the possible regional impact of the murder of Rabbi Kogan?
Well, it really is resonating throughout the region, Ephraim. It's an embarrassment for the UAE. For one, UAE has become a destination for many Israelis in the region, and it has been considered a fairly safe place for Jews. But it also talks about it amplifies why the UAE is a target for Iran and others who want to disrupt the Abraham Accords. They're 4 years old now. It's one major reason why Hamas attacked on October 7th and has a chilling impact here in the region for Jews and Israelis that are visiting the UAE and other Gulf countries.
Our CBN News Middle East Bureau Chief Chris Mitchell, thanks as always for your insight. Stay safe and know that we here continue to pray for you and our team there in Israel. Coming up, finding help for the homeless. See how some communities in Oklahoma City are working to make a difference. Stay with us. You're watching CBN News Watch.
Download the CBN News app. One place for all of your news. Breaking news alerts. Watch CBN News Channel live. CBN News, because truth matters. Get the CBN News app today.
Donald Trump has now named almost all of his cabinet picks. Many will be easily confirmed, but some will face opposition from Democrats and tough questions from Republicans. Del Hurd is on this story.
As President-elect Trump's cabinet takes shape, some Republicans as well as Democrats are disappointed with some of his picks. Those nominees could face a rough welcome in the Senate. The website Axios calls it Trump's liberal cabinet, saying it might be the most ideologically diverse cabinet in modern times. Critics are going after Trump's choice for Health and Human Services, RFK Jr., for being pro-abortion. His choice for Labor, Congresswoman Lori Chavez DeRemer, was blasted by the Wall Street Journal editorial board for being too pro-union. Trump's pick for Treasury, Scott Bessent, is a former chief investment officer for George Soros. Despite that background, many conservatives support him, saying he believes in tax cuts and other Trump policies. Another controversial pick is a former elected Democrat as Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard. Democratic Senator Tammy Duckworth told CNN her concerns with Gabbard is that she is compromised because of a 2017 meeting with Syrian President Bashar al-Assad.
I mean, Russian-controlled media called her a Russian asset. So I do think that we have a real deep concern whether or not she's a compromised person.
Republican Senator Markwayne Mullin shot back, calling Duckworth's allegations ridiculous and dangerous.
I got a lot of respect for Tammy, and I've known her for years. We served together in the House. But for her to say ridiculous and outright dangerous words like that is wrong. You got to keep in mind, Tulsi Gabbard is still Lieutenant Colonel in the United States Army. If she was compromised, if she wasn't able to pass a background check, if she wasn't able to do her job, she still wouldn't be in the Army.
Republican Senator Joni Ernst, a rape survivor, told Politico that past sexual allegations against Pete Hegseth, Trump's nominee for Defense Secretary, are worthy of discussion. And Republican Senator Bill Hagerty told ABC Hegseth is needed to fix the military.
Don't let these allegations distract us. What we need is real significant change. The Pentagon has been more focused on pronouns than they have lethality the past 4 years. We need to get back to business, and I think Pete is just the person to do it.
Meanwhile, the London Sunday Times reports Trump will issue an executive order on his first day in office for the removal of all transgender members of the U.S. military. There are believed to be about 15,000 active service personnel who are transgender. Defense sources told the Times they will be medically discharged as unfit to serve. Dale Hurd, CBN News.
In some parts of the country, homelessness is soaring. Smaller communities, like some in Oklahoma City, are experiencing spikes more than twice the national rate, spurring local government there to work with dozens of nonprofit and faith organizations to give people a place to live. CBN's Brody Carter reports.
Scary.
So homelessness is scary?
Definitely.
What's the scariest part?
The unknown, not knowing where you're going to get your next meal.
Yeah.
Where you're going to sleep, who's going to attack you.
Homeless for 3 years, Timothy Gadberry feels like he's fallen through the cracks of a system that's now left him behind.
There's no life to go back to. I feel like I'm a dead man walking.
It affects a staggering number of Americans, with more than 650,000 homeless on any given night.
I have been so hungry, almost in tears, not knowing what I was going to eat.
Homelessness in America is at an all-time high in the last 15 years, surging 12% in just 1 year. Here in Oklahoma City, we're seeing a 28% increase. That's more than twice the national average.
In response, leaders have adopted a housing-first approach, which is seeing success in bigger cities like Dallas and L.A. One rehousing initiative aims to put 500 homeless people in open apartment units within 2 years, no strings attached.
It's about a $13 million program. That's for 2 years.
Erica Warren, with the Key to Home Partnership, works with more than 50 organizations and nonprofits, including Catholic Charities, to find apartments for those in need.
I don't tell my mom about the times where I've seen a guy run up an apartment complex with a gun, or don't tell my mom about the time where I stepped on a used needle, or, you know, things like that. But that is the reality of it, right? People from all creeds, races, walks of life experiencing homelessness together.
While some danger can be involved, Rachel Golden remains committed to changing lives one apartment at a time. She also sees it as a balancing act, trying to keep landlords and service providers on the same page in order to keep the initiative moving forward.
Homeless people experiencing homelessness, whatever term you want to use, are just like you and me. They, like I said, we're 2 or 3 bad paychecks away from being in that situation.
In Oklahoma City, lack of affordable housing has caused rent to skyrocket. The cost of a one-bedroom apartment averages $850 a month, leaving many struggling to make ends meet. Nearly 75% of monthly minimum wage income goes toward rent here, and it's a crisis reaching nationwide. As the Key to Home program marches forward, the goal is not only to reduce homelessness, but to help restore dignity and rebuild lives. Advocates stress that success is measured when people have the support needed to stay housed, stable, and contribute to their communities.
Just be kind. Maybe ask them if they need a hug. Somebody to maybe sit with them, talk to them for a little bit.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't want help financially. They want somebody to actually care, genuinely care.
Reporting in Oklahoma City, Brody Carter, CBN News.
Still ahead, riding the waves of evangelism, meet the Brazilian pastor who's bringing the gospel to surfers in Portugal. Stay with us. You're watching CBN News Watch. Surfing is often seen as a sport or a hobby, yet for some, it is much more than that. They see riding the waves as a way of life, or even a spiritual practice and a path to deeper connection. one Brazilian pastor and lifelong surfer has found a unique way to merge his passion with his faith. George Thomas brings us the story from the coastal city of Porto, Portugal.
Talk to any avid surfer, and they'll tell you it's not just the waves. It's understanding the ocean's rhythm and learning to read patterns, the subtle movements of swells, timing of breaks, and how wind shapes the waves.
The water is the connection you have with nature. When you are surfing, you just connect with the water.
We grab our boards and when you ride in the wave, nothing really matters.
Growing up in Sao Paulo, Brazil, Samuel Cianelli dos Anjos is no stranger to the ocean and learned to surf before he could swim. Riding the waves became as much a part of his life as family and friends.
You enjoy the atmosphere. You enjoy the nature, the wind. You look at the waves that bring you calm and peace. And even more special when I come with my kids, for example, and my young daughter, and we surf together, and she's just enjoying the water in her face.
Dos Anjos says this connection to water goes beyond the physical. It's also deeply spiritual for him.
When I'm surfing and I'm in the ocean and I see a wave, I can see God and I can relate to God when I'm in the ocean. And surfers, they think the same. Maybe they don't believe in God, they don't worship something, but they understand nature.
He says the unpredictable nature of the waves mirrors life's ebb and flow. Its highs and lows, challenges and moments of grace.
We can compare the Holy Spirit with a wave. You don't control, you see it, you feel it, and the only thing you can do is navigate through it or on it, in my case with surf. So that's my deepest time with God, is my connection, my devotional time with God.
Dos Anjos has always dreamed of merging his two loves, faith and surfing. So a few years ago, he left behind Brazil's sun-soaked beaches and moved 5,000 miles to Portugal's Atlantic coast. Famous for its cobblestone streets, historic architecture, and the aroma of fresh pastéis de nata, the city of Porto has become a popular tourist destination. What drew the pastor here, though, were the stunning coastlines and vibrant surf culture.
And today, when we talk about surfing, Portugal is getting very, very close to be one of the biggest countries in surf.
Dos Anjos started organizing informal gatherings on the beach. He began with simple barbecues and surf lessons, inviting anyone curious enough to join. Soon, the beach became his church.
That's my office. Everyday office if I could, of course. But as many chances as I have, I'm here.
Gradually, people of different nationalities and backgrounds came together, united by their love for the ocean and a thirst for deeper connections.
Pastor Samuel moved his family from Brazil all the way here to Porto, Portugal, back in 2014. A year later, Surf Church was started with about 3 families. Today, almost 10 years later, some 13 nations are represented, and their goal is to build 50 churches across this country.
Church is not about a building, it's a relationship with God. So we want to plant 50 churches, not with a building, but with this mindset. You can be church everywhere. You can be church even in your house, in a small group, in a church in the house, you can be church.
Sunday services begin at the beach.
Sun or rain, cold or warmest day, every Sunday we are here. We serve together. We gather a group of people, sometimes more, sometimes less. So it's just a fellowship time, a time to connect again with each other and God.
One Sunday morning, church members witnessed Juliana Yarova get baptized in the Atlantic Ocean As she emerged, laughter and cheers erupted from her new family, echoing her joy.
I'm really excited. I can't explain my feelings, you know.
The Ukrainian teenager fled her war-torn country with her family and found refuge in Porto and in Surf Church. Also baptized, her brother Zakaria, and their mother Natalia was there to witness the special occasion.
I believe the best word to describe Surf Church today is a lighthouse. We are a safe place where people from all over the world can come and find community, find family, find faith in Jesus.
What started as a simple beach gathering here has grown into a beacon of hope, offering a belonging and purpose to people from all walks of life. In the end, Dusanjo says it's moved way beyond surfing to include navigating life together with faith, love, and a shared commitment to something greater, all woven together by the simple act of riding waves and serving Jesus. George Thomas, CBN News, Porto, Portugal.
Ah, beautiful. Stay with us. Your Monday Motivation is coming up next, right after this. Time now for your Monday Motivation. Today, I want to leave you with this thought as we begin this Thanksgiving week together. Thanksgiving is more than a holiday. It's more than a day. It's a lifestyle. It's a heart posture. It's a daily goal. Every day should be a day of thanksgiving. Give thanks in all things, and in all things give thanks. With that word, make this a marvelous Monday. Well, that will do it for this edition of CBN NewsWatch. Remember, you can always find more of our news programs on the CBN News Channel. You can find them there at any time as well as online. That address is cbnnews.com. Take a moment. Let us know what you think about the stories you've seen here today or any day. You can email us, newswatch@cbn.com. You can also reach out and touch us on Facebook, Instagram, as well as X, formerly known as Twitter. Hope you'll join me again right here come tomorrow. Goodbye. God bless. Thank you for watching.